There's a lot of people walking around with C-shaped spines, and they tend to work in the office, and there are a few ways of fixing it. So you have to imagine that if we're forward hunched a lot of the time, the pectoral is quite squeezed together and quite tight, and the thumb goes inwards. So it's actually a big giveaway if you see someone walk with their thumb slightly inwards, and what happens is the shoulders round forward and the upper back has that hunch look. So basically, if it's hunched, it's being overstretched. So what you need to do is strengthen the upper back muscles, and the best movement for that is to do a prone row, where you're on a flat bench and you do an extension of the upper back and you pull backwards, and that's going to strengthen the upper back and get the scapular wings pulling back together. The other thing is that the chest is going to be generally too tight. So a lot of pec stretching, or even doing proper flies, and I mean a fly with a straight arm with a lockout, where again you actually get the thumb to go from that position with a light dumbbell in and backwards, and what that does is it opens up the shoulder. So any rear movement, even if I do this and I pull the thumbs backwards in this way and lift my chest up, what I do is I'm opening up the shoulders, lifting up the sternum and the chest. So it's about thumb positions with flies, thumbs going backwards, and again I would suggest you do very lightweight that your joints and ligaments can handle, because you're doing a lockout of the arm, it's going to put impact and stress onto him. So go for lightweight on that. Then you want to do prone rows where you're getting the back working. I would say you also need to get your hips involved. So when you're sitting down in the office for a long time, you're actually shortening the hip flexor. They're actually shortening, and what you want to do is expand it. So you want to do hip flexor stretches, and then I would say with a hip flexor stretch you could go into something like an overhead squat, which will lengthen the hip but also strengthen it. And I think if you put those three exercises together, that's a great way of addressing that horrible sitting down. Let's add one more actually. I'm going to say doing an inchworm where you touch your toes, lengthening the hamstring, and then walking your arms away from yourself on the floor, getting your core working, pulling back into the hamstring. So again, you're lengthening and strengthening hamstrings. So those four exercises would be great for people that sit down in the office a lot of the time. And also just standing up is a good thing. Going for a walk standing up is an obvious thing. So if you're working in an office and you feel like you really need to improve your posture, which is what I specialise in, come and book in a session. Check out the website www.awpts.com.